Welcome back. We're here again talking about Redemption, our November 2016 Warriors of Light event. And this time, we wanted to talk about, generally, the guy who's our resident GM was a player this time. Clayton got to play a character who was very interesting, named Osmahar Iridian, an enchanter mage. Very interesting character, very neat look about him and personality as well. So, what were you guys' thoughts on that character?
My first impression of speaking to Osmahar when we were sitting out at the tables talking about going to collect things for you to be able to enchant, he had a very larger-than-life feel to him, because you invested yourself fully into the character. It showed in your costuming and the jewelry you had about the face, and that staff is magnificent. That staff is absolutely magnificent. I didn't realize that it lit until you did it at night. Oh, yeah. The globe on the top, the first thing that went through my head is like, is that legit in a LARP? You can hit somebody with that. That can't be right. And then you explained a little while later that that's why you had the pieces of foam around the top, because somebody had actually been hit once.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
him.
Yeah.
You. Right there.
Right smack in the eye. But your entire... and now seeing you in a personal view, outside of your costume and outside of the game, you embody that Osmahar character so well. I'm not talking to that guy right now. I'm talking to Clayton. But when you're in Osmahar's costume, you are that guy.
Yeah. It was fun playing him. Just the dynamic. Actually, I think like me and Klaus, as far as my view of you, you were one of the first people that I actually kind of connected with as a character, for the fact that we were just there, and you were the first ones to communicate with me that wasn't probing. You were just there, and we ended up in conversations to where my character was very standoffish to anybody trying to dig into him. It's like, that's none of your business. We're either going to do business, but stay out of mine.
Yeah.
And you were very yeah, you want to do that? We can do that. I'm willing to, accept currency for those services of protection. And it ended up being a cool business little thing that we started. But yeah, you and the two gnomes that were there, I think created
the Dinglewalds.
The Dinglewalds. They were great characters. I'm really sorry they left. Really sorry they left the next day, because I wanted to talk to them and explore and see how they more interacted with the straight man. Yeah, that's Osmahar, because those two were just off the wall.
Yeah, they were a riot.
Watching them talk to you, and while you guys are digging for the stone, and you're so matter of fact and whatnot, and these two are just coming up with stuff off the top of their head, and watching the facial expressions on Osmahar, he's like, "Are they serious? Why am I down here with them?"
Yeah, it did kind of get perplexing. I think I might have picked the wrong crowd.
I know
what I have to get done here. But
yeah, you're talking about how everybody's probing you, but I think the reason why everybody was probing is because you just had so much richness to your character that just kind of seeped out, whether it was through your costume or just little tidbits you revealed of the personality you put into your character. I felt like there was a lot there to probe at. I think I even probed at you in the first 5 minutes of the LARP on it. I mean, I didn't know, but you had those bandages around your hand, just something like that. That's that's tied to your worst day of your life memory. Yeah. You had those tied to that memory, and it was just something physical that somebody could ask about that made an emotional connection to your backstory.
Details.
The little details. Yeah.
The little details. Klaus noticed the bandages on your hand. But like you said, it's none of my business. If he wants to tell me about that, he'll tell me about that. Yeah. I'm not his friend, and he's not my friend. Right. Maybe later.
Yeah. As of right now, yeah.
Now, a question for you. You've been the GM for how many years doing this without being a character?
Is it 4, guys?
3.
3?
We've done 3 full seasons, yeah.
3. How did you see, how did your perspective change now that you've been on the other end of the gun?
Oh, it was definitely a very good experience, for the fact that it was different, for sure. Definitely a different world. And that's probably one of the most valuable things I got from it, is to understand, the player's perspective on, the situations that are being presented for them, the way the world exists, the way our rules and, personalities operate within the world, and how that affects you. so as far as the tool wise, it was an amazing treasure trove of getting knowledge to be able to use. And as far as the experience wise, it was a blast. It was, everything that I would hope would come from a player experience. I was getting. So it was definitely like, okay, we're doing well. This is good. So.
Right. Now, from the GM side, you're seeing how other players interacted. Did you feel the magic that is in the game?
Yes, as far as
because when you're sitting on one side of it, you're just like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, and now you get to see the dragon staring at you.
Right?
Is it the dragon staring at you?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, you get to see everything that exists there, as it is, and feeling the the stress, the emotion, all of that, and big part of that is that if you drop into a role, that also helps. So it's like if you go playing yourself, you probably won't experience it because you're still tied to a real reality. But bringing a character in that's not you, and trying to make it in every way not you. At that point, you're like, okay, I'm experiencing this as them, and your imagination just flows, and you experience it.
And it's easier. It's easier to play a character you've invented rather than yourself. A lot of the times because you're a lot more complicated than most characters you can make. So sometimes having that character you can go to and think about, it helps to paint a more, unique and I would say beautiful personality. Not to say that we're not all beautiful in our own ways, but anyway, one thing that I thought was very interesting that your character brought to the table is to pick certain abilities that really hadn't been picked much or at all yet. And a lot of people, I think, found some of the utility that came along with some of those abilities, such as like the poles and stuff like that. McFinnigan had it, but he wasn't able to use it a whole lot in the past. He'd used it a couple of times, but never to the degree at which you had used it, combining that with the teleports, to be able to kind of crowd control very
and
well.
The petrifies.
And the petrifies.
The mage that doesn't deal damage.
Didn't deal a lick of damage the whole event.
That is something I have not seen before.
Right.
I have not seen somebody play a character that refuses to use whatever ability they have to inflict damage. Because a lot of these fantasy LARPs are inflict as much damage as quickly as possible to make the monster go away. And the Osmahar character is not that.
No.
And that was fantastic creative streak that you took on it. I was very, very impressed.
It was a lot of fun, and it added a lot more interesting dynamic to the play, especially for the fact that I had to think outside the box, because it's not like you come into a combat situation and you have to immediately strategize. Because I don't even think I used my staff to throw a damage. I don't.
Oh,
remember.
yes, you did.
Did I? Oh, I did on the wolf.
On the wolves, you most certainly did.
I died from your staff.
That's right. I did throw it at the wolves. But for the most part, petrifies, trying to keep the enemy teleporting around, and all of that to try to keep everybody else safe, but also stay out of danger. It was an extreme task, and it made it so much more fun to play it that way, And it was kind of funny. We had some goblins coming up to the inn, and nobody knew my stats, and so I kind of came out there and I was boistering, like I was this all powerful wizard, like stamping my staff and stuff, and they're running, and
they bought it.
I couldn't even hurt them.
I can't hurt you, but you know what? You don't know that.
Pretty much.
It was a great character. The look was awesome. I felt bad for you because you'd mentioned a few times that those piercings on your lip and whatnot were pretty detrimental.
Still got some redness and still got some on my ear and my lip from it.
That's called commitment, right there. That's what that's called.
Sacrifice for your art.
Yeah, you got it. It's all in or not at all.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us again. And we'll catch you next time when we're talking about Redemption, our November 2016 Warriors of Light event. Thanks, guys.